Okay, so now we're going to try and do some sort of block printing with found objects at home, or even making your own sorts of blocks. So the things you're going to need are any found objects. So I've got some toilet rolls, I've got some cardboard. I do happen to have some nice little pre-made blocks. So if you're going to make some cardboard blocks, just make them. So looking on my little PowerPoint, you'll see that there are some homemade blocks here. Really simple, just cut them out of cardboard. I use double-sided, you could just use Pritt Stick to stick these down, and then we're going to have a go at printing with them. But found objects is really good. You could get leaves from in the garden, you could get, I've got a peg here I started to print with, you can get all sorts of things. Cookie cutters are really nice to work with. They work really well. So all you need is, again, your acrylic paints and water, paintbrush, a sponge, and the stuff you're going to print with, and your natural fabric as well. So I'm going to start with some of my nice already pre-made little blocks. So for this, I'm going to put these on with the paint on with a sponge. So if you have any letter blocks or anything, you could block with those. They work quite nicely. And you're just going to press down. You see this should be a little tree that comes. Try it a couple of times. So obviously with the acrylic paint, it likes to have a second go. So do some little fresh ones, and you could do some little prints like that. That's fine. You could then use, I just started to think about using some toilet rolls, and this is how I recycle them, and when I put them in the recycling box. So just paint on. So easier to paint this on to get the acrylic. You could obviously do lots of different colours. Some of the lines won't come out, but it does work quite well because you can push down on the top here and press. So that works quite nicely. You could then do a second one, and then you'll get a slightly lighter one. You could do this with lots of different colours. So this is really simple but quite effective. You don't have to have so many toilet roll holders stuffed and folded up, because all I do is fold them like that. You could obviously do the other side, so it might be we paint this side and see what this is going to look like. You might not do the edges on this one. You might just decide, now this is where I'm going to get really dirty hands, because obviously I'm going to have to push that down to get that to go. And then it just needs a few more layers on there, but you sort of get the idea how this can work. It's a really simple stuff. So you could literally just make a whole load of blocks using toilet roll holders and putting different shapes inside, fold them in, and then you can get quite a nice effect there. You could also just use a single one. So this one will just obviously give you different circles. Just paint it on. Much easier to paint this on, certainly if you're using acrylic. And then you could do a whole series of circles. Then you could perhaps get a carrot, and you could just put a carrot inside there and do a repeat print that way. You could get a potato, cut up a potato. You've all done that in primary school. So that's why I'm not going to show you that, because most of you will be familiar with that. Then, of course, you've got your blocks that you might have made out of cardboard. Again, I would paint this on. You have to be quite quick doing this. And depending on the cardboard you use will depend on how well it's going to print. But of course you could do a repeat print. So I'm going to just try this in this corner here. You might need to just push that down. Okay, and sometimes by pushing it down, because it's corrugated card, it might actually have different rolls in it. Okay, so you get that. So that's quite a nice effect. So you might then do a different colour. So at the moment all I've got is blue, so just going to stick with blue. I'm doing this. You're going to take much longer doing this, because I'm literally just doing it at speed, just to see and show you that even simple things at home. So I might turn it around that way. That's what I want to do. And so I'm going to now go across it. So you might do this with two colours. It might be that you just print a whole piece going across. Not sure I like that. So if we just get another piece of fabric, and we might just do a repeat going all the way across. You sort of get the idea. Let's just do one quickly. And because I placed my cardboard lines at different gaps, different spaces between them, it obviously creates a little bit more interest. So you might start down here. See, that's now starting to look really nice. Well, I think it does. And then you're just going to paint another layer on. You are going to get particularly messy doing this, but that's all part of the fun. So you might then decide to line that up there. Do a little repeat across here. You could then embroider into these. You could draw into them just with plain felt tip pens. Just make sure you iron everything when it's dry. And you can see you can start building up a background. And because it's corrugated, it's giving you these horizontal lines as well as the verticals that you've cut. So really simple things can create really nice prints. Just leave it to dry, iron it to fix it, and then you can add other things on. You could use these to cut out and do an applique. You could use them to, you know, sort of draw into. You could obviously print other things in different colours going across the top. So it might be quite nice if you had a different colour. You might do circles going across here. So that is it. That's a really sort of simple but quite effective way to do some block printing from just stuff that you've got lying around at home.